Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we are talking about the spell Geas, Geas, however you want to say it. It's spelled Geas, and that's what we're talking about. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, so this is a 5th level spell that takes 1 minute to cast, so you will not be casting this in combat. We are giving this spell a C because it is primarily not a combat spell, and it is actually hard to cast because you have to have a captive audience. Basically, the creature has to be there for the full minute of the casting and has to be within range. So we're going to talk about how that happens. So this spell is usable by bards, clerics, druids, paladins, wizards, and Oath of the Crown paladins. Not really sure why that is, but okay. It's usable by them. Bards and wizards, paladin, I guess you're issuing a decree or an oath or something, and that's, that, and it's blessed by your holy god, and that's why it's going to happen. And clerics, basically the same thing. So range of 60 feet, only a verbal component. It is not a concentration spell, but it's also not a ritual spell. It lasts for 30 days. And so you place a magical command on a creature you can see within range, forcing it to carry out some service or refrain from some action or course of activity you decide. So that's flavor, except for the thing within range. The rest of that sentence is flavor. If the creature can understand you, so remember that it's got to understand you, so comprehend languages and being able to talk its language are very, very helpful. So if it can understand you, it must make a wisdom saving throw, which is a great save. It's not as good as the intelligence one or not as good as the charisma one, but it is a good save. So it has to make a saving throw or it becomes charmed by you for the duration. Now, charmed, remember, charm does not give you control over the creature. Charm does very specific things. A charmed creature cannot attack the charmer or target the charmer with harmful abilities or magical effects. But that doesn't say anything about it not being able to attack your allies. And the charmer has advantage on ability checks to interact socially with the creature. So if you want to diplomacy the creature or lie to the creature with deception or intimidate the creature, you have advantage. That's really all it does. It can't attack you, and you have advantage to interact with it socially. While the creature is charmed by you, it takes 5d10 psychic damage each time it acts in a manner directly counter to your instructions, but no more than once a day. So that, it's charmed, so it can't attack you. And you could, give it something to do, and it just says, I'm not going to do that. As soon as it says it doesn't do that, it takes 5d10 psychic damage, and then it's done. If it can take that damage, then who cares? That's one of the things I don't like about this spell, is it takes the damage, and then it's done. It can't take it again that day. So it could, and then after that, completely disobey you. Except for the charmed part, because it does have the charm condition. So it can't do anything that is not within the left and right boundaries of the charmed condition. A creature that can't understand you is unaffected by the spell. So that is mentioned twice. So you can issue any command you choose short of an activity that would result in certain death. Should you issue a suicidal command, the spell ends. So you can give it commands, and it can choose to disobey you and take the damage. But remember, you have advantage on social interactions with it. So what does that mean particularly? Well, let's look at that. It's under using ability scores. And we want to use charisma. And under charisma, we've got the best one is probably persuasion. So when you attempt to influence someone or a group of people with attack social graces, the DM might ask you to make a charisma or persuasion check. Typically, you use persuasion when acting in good faith to foster friendship, make cordial requests, blah, blah, blah. So you could do that. You could deceive it. It's basically trying to get it on your side. So you could convince it that you're its best friend, essentially. I mean, there are limits, there are left and right boundaries to that, but you have advantage on that. If it decides to disobey your command when you choose to socially interact with it, it takes that damage, and then it can continue to disobey you. So you can end the spell early by using an action to dismiss it. A remove curse, greater restoration, or wish also ends the spell. When you cast the spell using a spell slot of 7 or 8, the duration is 1 year. When you cast this spell using a spell slot of 9th level, the spell lasts until it is ended by one of the spells mentioned above, which are remove curse, greater restoration, or wish. So you could actually get somebody to be charmed by you for a year, and then you could start to interact with them after that. Now, and because they could be your best friend, they may not want to disobey you. I mean, it says it's issuing commands, but you have to do it within the context of that. It doesn't say that you can make the creature do stuff. You can ask it to do stuff, and if it doesn't, then it can, within the context of being charmed and a successful persuasion or deception, then it's going to take some damage once. Now, how do we get... So what's the best level to cast this spell at? Well, 5th level is pretty good. It's 30 days. You could have somebody go on a quest for 30 days if you think it's only going to take 2 weeks or whatever. A year is longer. You could just make it, your permanent buddy. So with a 9th level spell. It's up to you. All of them are powerful, but you have to be able to cast the spell on them. And this is what we're going to talk about next. So I've got hold person, hold monster. These each have a duration of 1 minute, which means they got to be cast basically the same time that Geas is cast. So you're not going to be casting hold monster or hold person and then casting Geas, because you'll be 1 round short of getting this spell cast. So you need to have somebody else to cast them, and then they're paralyzed, and they basically just have to stand there until you're done with the spell. Now, just remember that they get a saving throw on the end of each of their turns. There is that. So same thing with hold monsters. So they could break it and they could get away. So you're kind of taking a chance on them passing one of those saves with that. There is dominate person, which lasts for a minute, but you can upcast it as a 6th level, and the duration becomes 10 minutes. So it charms the creatures. You can basically just say, stand there. And you can give, this one you can give commands, and it does its best to obey them. So you could say, stand there and listen to me talk to you about how I'm going to charm you for even longer. And it only gets 1 save. That's it. And if you or creatures that are friendly to you are fighting it, so that's a problem. So you can lock it up for 10 minutes and then cast Geas, and then it's gonna, or Geas, or Geas, or Geas, or whatever you want to say. And but it's got to be a humanoid. Alternatively, you could cast Dominate Monster, which is an 8th level spell. That one lasts for an hour, and it gets a save, and that's it. And then you just tell it to stand there, and you cast Geas on it, and you could permanently take it out. Okay. Charm person is another one. You could start with this one. It has a duration of an hour, no concentration, and you attempt charm. It must make a wisdom saving throw and does so with advantage if you're fighting it. If it fails, it's charmed by you until the spell ends. No other saving throw. So you could charm it. It's got to be a humanoid, and then you can just say, hey, could you just stand there for a while I say some words to you for another minute, and then you do that. Or you can use charm monster, which is anything. And just remember, the rider on this one is it has to be able to understand you. This one, not necessarily. You charm it and just tell it to stand there. And you're persuading it to stand there, by the way. And then you cast Geas. So, and then you can use it for, it's your buddy, for 30 days to permanent buddy. So, All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.